The Underdog Protocol. The Celestial Alliance's Grand Assembly Hall buzzed with the usual diplomatic chatter as representatives from 100 worlds mingled before the session. Towering crystalline beings from Cygnus exchanged pleasantries with the gaseous entities of Proxima's moons. Cygnus delegates from the Hive Collective debated policy with the silicon-based ambassadors of the Vulcan Coalition. Everyone who was anyone in galactic politics was present. Everyone except the humans. Admiral Jax Vorex of the Arcturian Dominion sneered as the human delegation finally entered the hall, 15 minutes late. "Ah, the apes have arrived," he muttered to his aide. "Always behind schedule, just like their technological development." The human delegation, led by Ambassador Sarah Mitchell, moved quietly to their assigned seats, the smallest podium in the most distant corner of the hall. Earth had been part of the Alliance for merely 2 decades, a blink of an eye in cosmic terms. They were tolerated rather than respected, invited to the table out of what the older races called charitable inclusion, but what was, in reality, thinly veiled condescension. "The Strategic Defense Committee will now convene," announced Grand Arbiter Zilbex, a 12-foot-tall reptilian whose scales shimmered with bioluminescent patterns. "First on our agenda, the Voidborn incursion into Sector 7. Holographic displays materialized throughout the chamber, showing a fleet of obsidian ships with angular predatory designs. The Voidborn, a mysterious species from the galactic fringe, had been expanding their territory aggressively for the past standard year. The Voidborn have destroyed 3 outposts and seized control of the Tannhauser Gate," Zilbex continued. "They've ignored all diplomatic channels. The Defense Committee must decide on a response." The delegates erupted in a cacophony of suggestions, each race offering their most advanced weapons and ships for the inevitable conflict. The Arcturians boasted of their quantum disruptors. The Cygnus spoke of their temporal displacement fields. The Vulcan Coalition promised their newest antimatter warheads. When it came time for Earth's contribution, Admiral Vorex didn't even try to hide his laughter. "And what will the humans offer?" he asked mockingly. "Perhaps some more of those chemical rockets, or those adorable little laser weapons that couldn't penetrate a standard shield." Ambassador Mitchell stood tall despite the ridicule. "Earth contributes the Phoenix," she said simply. "The Phoenix," Vorex repeated, his multiple eyes blinking in confusion. "I've never heard of this weapon." "It's a prototype vessel," Mitchell explained. "New technology, still in testing phases." The chamber erupted in laughter. Even Grand Arbiter Zilbex couldn't suppress a chuckle. "A prototype," Vorex sneered. "The Voidborn are the most formidable enemy the Alliance has faced in centuries, and you offer us an untested toy." Mitchell's face remained impassive. "The Phoenix will be ready when needed." "Ambassador," Zilbex said, his voice dripping with patronizing patience, "while we appreciate Earth's enthusiasm, this is a serious matter. Perhaps your people could focus on providing medical support or supplies." Mitchell simply nodded and sat down, her expression unreadable. The meeting continued, Earth's contribution all but forgotten as the real powers made their plans. What the Alliance didn't know was that, deep in Earth's solar system, hidden within the asteroid belt, something unprecedented was taking shape. Captain Maya Chen stood in the observation deck of the orbital shipyard, gazing at the vessel that would change everything. The Phoenix wasn't much to look at by Alliance standards, barely a third the size of an Arcturian cruiser, with none of the elegant aesthetics of Cygnus design or the imposing bulk of Vulcan warships. Its hull was a patchwork of experimental alloys, studded with unusual protrusions and apparent design inconsistencies. It looked, frankly, like it had been cobbled together by amateurs. "How's my girl doing today?" Maya asked, not taking her eyes off the ship. Chief Engineer Tomas Rodriguez grinned from his station. "You wouldn't. The Phoenix wasn't the only project we've been working on." The new Earth vessels moved with the same impossible agility as the Phoenix, employing similar quantum jumping techniques to position themselves between the colony and the Voidborn reinforcements. Maya's communicator chimed again. Captain Chen, this is Captain Amara Okafor of the Earth vessel Thunderbird. Sounds like you could use a hand. Maya couldn't suppress her smile. Your timing is impeccable, Captain Okafor. I take it these are all prototype vessels as well. The Phoenix class was just the beginning, Okafor replied. Allow us to introduce the Voidborn to the rest of Earth's primitive technology. What followed was unlike any space battle recorded in Alliance history. The Earth vessels, each equipped with variations of the Phoenix's revolutionary systems, engaged the Voidborn fleet with breathtaking coordination. Some absorbed energy like the Phoenix, others redirected it, and still others employed defensive systems that seemed to bend space itself around them. The Voidborn, for all their advanced technology and numerical advantage, found themselves outmaneuvered at every turn. Their weapons either missed entirely or were absorbed and redirected. Their communications were jammed by frequencies they couldn't counter. Their ships were disabled one by one without being destroyed, a show of mercy that seemed to confuse them as much as the technology they were facing. From the Phoenix's bridge, Maya watched with pride as humanity's secret fleet demonstrated capabilities that would rewrite the Alliance's understanding of Earth's technological achievement. Captain, Jin called out, we're being hailed by the remaining active Voidborn vessel. It appears to be their new command ship. Maya nodded. On screen, the view screen flickered to life, showing the same Voidborn commander, but with a decidedly different demeanor. The pulsing of its internal organs had slowed, and its voice had lost its edge of contempt. Human vessel, it began. We request cessation of hostilities. Your technology was incorrectly assessed. Maya kept her expression neutral. I'm glad you've come to that realization. You will withdraw all forces from this system immediately. You will release any prisoners you've taken from the colony. And you will return to your territory and remain there. Is that understood? The Voidborn commander's translucent skin rippled in what might have been indignation, but it managed a stiff gesture of agreement. Understood. But know this, human. The Voidborn do not forget. We will study your technology. We will adapt. I'm counting on it, Maya replied calmly. Because next time we meet, we won't be using prototype ships. The transmission ended, and the remaining Voidborn vessels began retreating, collecting their disabled compatriots as they went. The bridge erupted in cheers, the crew's professional demeanor momentarily giving way to celebration. Maya allowed it for a few moments before raising her hand for quiet. Outstanding work, everyone. But our mission isn't complete until the colony is fully evacuated. Let's finish what we started. 3 days later, Maya stood in a different kind of environment, the Grand Assembly Hall of the Celestial Alliance. Unlike the usual human delegation, tucked away in a corner, she stood at the center of the chamber, the focus of every alien eye, appendage, or sensory organ. Captain Chen. Grand Arbiter Zilbex began, his tone considerably more respectful than any human had heard before. The Alliance Council has reviewed the reports from Kepler 186 FF. To say we are surprised would be an understatement. Admiral Vorex of the Arcturian Dominion leaned forward in his seat. We were led to believe that human technology was decades, if not centuries, behind our own. Yet your prototype vessels exhibited capabilities we have never seen before. How is this possible? Maya glanced at Ambassador Mitchell, who nodded slightly. The Alliance has underestimated humanity from the beginning. Maya said simply, you saw what you expected to see, a primitive species struggling to catch up. You never considered that we might be pursuing different technological paths altogether. The Cerberus system, Zilbex prompted. Our scientists have never seen anything like it. Maya smiled. Human history is filled with examples of asymmetric warfare, smaller forces defeating larger ones through innovation and unconventional thinking. When we joined the Alliance and saw the level of technology we were facing, we knew we couldn't compete directly, so we didn't try. Instead, Ambassador Mitchell continued, we focused on developing technologies that countered the established weapons of the Alliance races. The Phoenix wasn't designed to outgun a Voidborn warship. It was designed to render their weapons ineffective. Voidborn ships have detected us, Layla reported tensely. They're breaking off attack to intercept. Weapon signatures powering up. Maya studied the tactical display. 5 against 1. And each Voidborn ship was at least twice the size of the Phoenix. By Alliance standards, this was suicide. But the Phoenix wasn't built to Alliance standards. Battle stations. Maya ordered calmly. All hands, prepare for combat operations. Layla, defensive pattern Echo 6. Kai, keep us mobile. Random vector changes every 15 seconds. The crew responded with practiced efficiency. No panic, no hesitation. This was what they had trained for. Captain, Jin called out, we're being hailed by the Voidborn command ship. On screen. The view screen flickered to life, showing the translucent features of a Voidborn commander. Its voice vibrated with disdain. Human vessel. Your presence is unexpected but irrelevant. Your primitive technology cannot stand against us. Surrender now, and we will allow your crew to live as subjects. Maya rose from her chair, facing the alien with quiet confidence. This is Captain Maya Chen of the Earth vessel Phoenix. We request that you cease hostilities against the colony and withdraw from this system immediately. The Voidborn commander made a sound like shattering glass. Laughter, Maya realized. Your species is known to us, human, the weaklings of the Alliance, the pets kept for amusement. You have no weapons that can harm us, no shields that can withstand our attack. Maya smiled thinly. I suppose we'll find out. The Voidborn commander's internal organs pulsed with apparent anger. Very well. Die with your colony. The transmission cut. They're launching fighters, Layla announced. Multiple targeting locks detected. Maya returned to her chair, her voice calm and clear. All right, everyone. The Phoenix may look like a prototype, but she's humanity's best hope. Let's show these Voidborn and the Alliance exactly what we can do. The first volley of enemy fire streaked toward them, violet energy beams that could slice through conventional Alliance shields like paper. But the Phoenix was not conventional, not by a long shot. As the Voidborn weapons struck, the crew braced for impact. But instead of explosive decompression or critical systems failure, something unexpected happened. The Phoenix absorbed the attack and began to glow. Cerberus system online, Dr. Wong announced, her voice tight with concentration. Energy absorption at 87% efficiency. Reserves charging. Maya allowed herself a small smile as the Voidborn fighters circled for another attack run. Now, she said quietly, let's return the favor. Defiance beyond measure. The Voidborn commander stared at his tactical display in disbelief. The human ship should have been vaporized by the first volley. Instead, it was glowing. Impossible, he hissed, his translucent skin pulsing with agitation. Scan that vessel again. His science officer worked frantically at the console. Commander, I'm detecting unusual energy signatures. The human ship appears to be absorbing our weapons fire and converting it somehow. Absurd. Human technology is primitive. The Alliance reports confirm. The Alliance reports are wrong. The science officer interrupted, a grave breach of protocol that spoke to his alarm. Whatever this ship is, it's unlike anything we've encountered. Aboard the Phoenix, Captain Maya Chen watched the Voidborn fleet with calm intensity. The enemy ships had momentarily ceased fire, likely confused by their unexpected survival. It was the opening she needed. Dr. Wong, status of the Cerberus system. The quantum physicist didn't look up from her console. Energy reserves at 92% and climbing, Captain. The absorption matrix is performing beyond expectations. Maya nodded. Layla, target their lead vessel. Precision strike only. I want to send a message, not start a massacre. Tactical officer Layla Nasser's fingers flew across her console. Target locked, Captain. Cerberus capacitors aligned. Fire. The Phoenix's hull pulsed once, then released a concentrated beam of energy, the same violet energy the Voidborn had fired at them, but refined, focused, and amplified. The beam struck the Lid Voidborn fighter with surgical precision, slicing through its propulsion system. The fighter didn't explode. Instead, it spun helplessly, its weapons and engines dead. The remaining Voidborn craft scattered in obvious confusion. Direct hit, Layla reported. Target neutralized without destruction. Maya opened a channel. Voidborn vessels, this is your only warning. We have the capability to disable or destroy your entire fleet. Withdraw from this colony immediately. For a moment, she thought the demonstration had worked. The fighters began pulling back toward their capital ships. Then, without warning, all 5 Voidborn warships opened fire simultaneously. Evasive maneuvers, Maya ordered sharply. Lieutenant Nakamura's hands danced across the helm controls, sending the Phoenix into a series of tight, unpredictable turns. Despite his skill, they couldn't evade everything. Dozens of energy beams slammed into the Phoenix from all directions. The bridge shuddered, but the shields held. Cerberus system, at 138% capacity and rising, Dr. Wong announced, her voice tight with concentration. Captain, we're absorbing more energy than anticipated. The buffers weren't designed for this level of input. Can we redirect it? Yes, but we need to discharge soon. The system wasn't meant to store this much power. Maya made a split-second decision. Kai, get us close to their flagship. Point-blank range. Layla, prepare for wide-spectrum discharge, non-lethal power levels. Captain, Layla protested. At that range, even non-lethal settings could cause significant damage. They're not giving us a choice, Maya replied grimly. Our mission is to protect the colony and buy time for evacuation. If we can disable their command ship, the rest might back off. The Phoenix dove toward the largest Voidborn vessel, weaving through enemy fire with impossible agility. The quantum flux drive. Another technology the Alliance believed was centuries beyond human capability, allowed the ship to make micro-jumps, appearing to teleport short distances to avoid incoming attacks. Within range, Captain, Kai reported as they closed to within 100 meters of the Voidborn flagship's hull. Cerberus at critical capacity, Dr. Wong warned. We need to discharge now. Maya took a deep breath. On my mark, discharge. The Phoenix released the stored energy in a radial pulse that engulfed the Voidborn flagship. Unlike a conventional weapon, the Cerberus system didn't destroy its target, it disrupted it. The pulse interfered with the ship's electronic systems, energy networks, and propulsion. The massive Voidborn vessel went dark, drifting powerless in space. For a moment, silence reigned on the Phoenix's bridge. Then, 3 remaining enemy warships are retreating, Layla announced, a note of disbelief in her voice. The damaged flagship and the 5th vessel are adrift, but life support appears functional. Maya allowed herself a small smile. Status of the colony evacuation. Proceeding much faster now, Jin reported. With the Voidborn attack halted, they estimate full evacuation in 3 hours. Good. Maya stood, stretching muscles that had been tensed for battle. Kai, keep us in position between the colony and the disabled Voidborn ships. Jin, open a channel to Admiral Park. She'll want to know. Captain. Layla's voice cut through the momentary calm. Multiple new contacts. 20+ Voidborn vessels just emerged from hyperspace. Maya's blood ran cold as she took in the tactical display. The retreating Voidborn ships had called for reinforcements. A lot of them. They're moving to surround us, Layla continued. Energy signatures indicate weapon systems powering up on all vessels. The bridge crew looked to Maya, waiting for orders. The Phoenix had performed brilliantly against 5 ships, but 20. The Cerberus system needed time to recharge, and even then, it couldn't absorb fire from so many directions simultaneously. Maya's mind raced through options. They could retreat, but that would leave the colony defenseless. They could try to hold their position, but against such overwhelming odds. Her communicator chimed unexpectedly. "Captain Chen," came Admiral Park's voice. "Reinforcements are inbound. Hold your position." Maya blinked in surprise. "Reinforcements? The Alliance fleet is still days away." "Not the Alliance," Park replied, a hint of satisfaction in her tone. "Ours." Before Maya could respond, new contacts appeared on the tactical display. 10 vessels of varying sizes, all bearing Earth insignia. "Captain," Jin said, his voice filled with wonder. "Those are Earth ships, but I don't recognize the configurations." Chief Engineer Thomas Rodriguez appeared beside her, wiping grease from his hands with a rag. "She's purring like a kitten, Captain. The quantum flux drive is stabilizing better than expected. We've achieved 97% synchronization. And the Cerberus system." Thomas grinned. "Online and operational, though I still think the name is a bit dramatic." Maya finally turned to face him, a small smile playing on her lips. "When you create something that rewrites the laws of physics as we understand them, you earn the right to name it whatever you want." "Fair enough," Thomas conceded. "The team's finishing the final calibrations now. She'll be ready for the shakedown cruise in 48 hours. Maya nodded, her attention drawn back to the Phoenix. For 5 years, Earth's best minds had worked in absolute secrecy, developing technologies that the Alliance races believed were centuries beyond human capability. The quantum flux drive, the Cerberus system, the adaptive metamaterials that made up the Phoenix's hull. All of it created under the noses of allies who dismissed humanity as barely spacefaring primitives. All of it untested in actual combat. Until now. Maya's communicator chimed. "Captain Chen," came the voice of Fleet Admiral Helena Park. "I need you in the command center immediately. The Voidborn situation has escalated." 10 minutes later, Maya stood before a holographic display showing the remains of the Alliance outpost at Proxima Centauri. The station had been reduced to twisted metal and frozen corpses. "This happened 6 hours ago," Admiral Park explained grimly. "The Voidborn left a message." She gestured, and a new hologram appeared. A humanoid figure with translucent skin that revealed pulsing organs and an intricate nervous system. "Celestial Alliance." The figure's voice was like glass being crushed. "Your expansion ends. Your arrogance ends. Your existence ends. We claim all territories within 50 light-years of our space. Evacuate immediately or face extinction." The message ended. Admiral Park looked at Maya with steel in her eyes. "We've just received word that the Alliance's response fleet won't be ready for 2 weeks. The Arcturians are having technical difficulties with their flagship, and the Vulcans are demanding concessions before committing their forces." "Politics," Maya said disgustedly. "Politics," Park agreed. "Meanwhile, the Voidborn fleet is heading toward the human colony on Kepler 186 stuff. 2 million civilians, Captain. The Alliance has effectively abandoned them to their fate." Maya straightened. "The Phoenix isn't fully tested. It's all we have." Park cut her off. "I'm authorizing emergency deployment. Your mission is to buy time for the evacuation, whatever it takes." Maya nodded slowly. "Permission to speak freely, Admiral. Always. This could be a one-way trip. The Phoenix might not be ready for actual combat." Admiral Park's expression softened slightly. "If anyone can make that ship work, it's you and your crew, Maya. But I understand the risks." She paused. "The Alliance has underestimated us from day one. They've mocked our efforts, dismissed our potential. Maybe it's time to show them exactly what humanity is capable of." Maya saluted sharply. "Consider it done, Admiral. The Phoenix launches in 24 hours. The Phoenix's bridge was unlike anything in the Alliance fleet. No ornate command chairs or ceremonial decorations. Just efficient workstations arranged in a circular pattern around a central holographic projection system. Maya's crew of 12 represented the best of humanity. Brilliant, determined and accustomed to being underestimated. Final systems check, Maya ordered as they prepared for their first jump. Propulsion at 100%, reported Lieutenant Kai Nakamura at the helm. Shields nominal, added Tactical Officer Layla Nasser. Cerberus system standing by, confirmed Dr. Eliza Wong, the quantum physicist who had helped design the Phoenix's secret weapon. Maya took a deep breath. Take us out, Lieutenant Nakamura. Set course for Kepler 186, maximum speed. The Phoenix slipped away from the shipyard, accelerating smoothly. As they cleared the asteroid belt, Nakamura engaged the quantum flux drive. There was no dramatic flash of light, no sense of acceleration. Just a subtle shift in the stars as the Phoenix moved to speeds that Alliance ships could only dream of. They reached Kepler 186f in hours rather than days, emerging from quantum space to find the colony already under attack. 5 void-borne warships, massive obsidian structures that seemed to absorb rather than reflect light, were in orbit, launching smaller craft toward the surface. Evacuation status, Maya demanded. Communications Officer Jin Park frowned at his console. Colony reports only 30% of civilians have reached the shelters. They need at least 12 more hours for full evacuation. And the quantum flux drive. Vorex pressed. Our scientists claimed such technology was theoretically impossible. Theoretical impossibility has never stopped human innovation, Maya replied. Throughout our history, we've made a habit of achieving the impossible. The chamber fell silent as the implications sank in. The humans, dismissed as barely worth noticing, had been quietly developing technologies that could potentially revolutionize, or destabilize, the entire balance of power in the Alliance. Grand Arbiter Zilbex finally broke the silence. In light of these revelations, the Council proposes a formal apology to Earth for our misconceptions. Furthermore, we would like to establish a joint technological exchange program. Admiral Vorex looked like he had swallowed something sour, but managed a grudging nod of agreement. Earth would be honored. Ambassador Mitchell replied diplomatically, though her eyes sparkled with satisfaction. We have always believed that cooperation achieves more than competition. And the Voidborn? Another delegate asked. They've withdrawn, but they will return. When they do, Maya said confidently, they'll find that the Alliance is stronger than ever, because we'll be working together as equals, not as patrons and clients. As the session concluded, Maya found herself surrounded by alien delegates, each eager to discuss Earth's surprising technological achievements. She answered their questions politely but vaguely, maintaining the air of mystery that now surrounded humanity's capabilities. Ambassador Mitchell sidled up beside her during a brief lull. You've become quite the diplomat, Captain. Maya smiled. I prefer straight talk to diplomacy, Ambassador. But some things are worth being diplomatic about. Like not mentioning that the Phoenix was our only fully operational vessel, and the rest of the fleet was mostly for show. Details, Maya shrugged. The important thing is that the Alliance now sees us as equals. And the Voidborn see us as a threat, Mitchell added soberly. Good, Maya replied. Because by the time they return, the prototypes won't be prototypes anymore. As they walked out of the assembly hall, Maya caught sight of Admiral Vorex watching her with a mixture of respect and wariness. She nodded politely as she passed, but couldn't resist adding, never underestimate the underdogs. Admiral, we tend to bite when cornered. The Phoenix might have been just a prototype, but it had changed the course of galactic history, proving that humanity's greatest strength wasn't in their ships or weapons, but in their ability to be perpetually underestimated until the moment they weren't. And by then, it was usually too late.